Living Adaptive.
The goal is to adapt and thrive despite the adversity you face.
You're going to have that little voice inside of you trying to push yourself.
I set a vision for myself, and now I'm seeing it come to fruition.
I'm grateful for losing my leg.
There's just some things you must endure in life.
You might crash. You might fail.
You can find a purpose in your suffering.
I'm not special. I just decided that I'm not going to stop.
You do everything you possibly can.
We want to change the world.
I'm going to adapt to it and make it the way it works for me.
Take what it is from life that you want and enjoy it.
Yo, what's up, everyone? This is Scott Davidson, and just so you know, you can find out more about Living Adaptive and previous shows, context for guests, and a bunch of other good stuff at livingadaptive.com. Go there. All right. So we got Paralympian hopeful Ryen Reed, along with surfer, content creator, and coach Jacob Pacheco. What's up, Ryen Reed and Jacob Pacheco? Thanks for being here, and let's jump right into this. So Ryen Reed, you are training for hand cycling in the Paralympics. How long have you been competing on the adaptive side, and what is your adaptive story?
So I was born with cerebral palsy and hip dysplasia. I didn't find out about parasports or anything like that until 2015 when I volunteered at the Special Olympics in Los Angeles. I always competed in able-bodied sports. I played softball growing up, and I don't know, I didn't want to be treated any differently or anything. So growing up, I was the only one that I knew of in my life with a disability. So none of this existed until 2015. I started training for paratriathlon, and then went to a paracycling clinic at Chula Vista Olympic Training Center in 2016. And then I got invited to live at the Olympic Training Center in Colorado Springs in the beginning of 2017, where I basically packed up my entire life and moved halfway across the country and lived in Colorado for about a year and a half. But I got hit by an SUV on my bike during training, and then everything kind of went downhill from there for a little bit, and then I moved back to California, and now I'm pushing still towards the 2020 Paralympics.
Ryen Reed, you have 15 or more surgeries and counting.
Yes.
And you mentioned in one of your posts, your whole life, you were raised no different than anyone else, meaning that you didn't want to be treated differently or helped out in any way. You're always active, if not more active than most people that didn't have to encounter the challenges you did. What does that mean to you? What does that mean that you were raised no different than anyone else? And why is that so important?
I didn't see myself with a disability growing up. The only time I saw myself any differently was when I walked by a mirror or saw my shadow. But I didn't want to be different. I wanted to fit in with everyone else. I wanted to do everything that everyone else was doing. So I love sports, and my dream was to compete in the Olympics. But unfortunately, I wasn't able to because of my disability until I found out about the Paralympics. It's crazy when I actually sit down and think about what I go through in a day compared to like people that I know who are fully able to do these things, and I'm just pushing through it all.
You've obviously overcome a ton of adversity, Ryen. And by the way, this is Jacob Pacheco, again, back on the Living Adaptive podcast. And I wanted to ask you a question. What helps you keep your commitment throughout your journey with adversity? Because just from hearing from my end, 15 plus surgeries, going through the traumatic experiences in Colorado, and probably you had some traumatic experiences as a young person with a disability going through life. Can you speak to your process of commitment? How do you stay committed?
Knowing that I have all of this support through my friends and family, and even people that I don't even know, following me on social media, or people that I meet in the gym, or even along the bike path as I'm training. There's so many people that I inspire and people that, I mean, I have friends that have started racing in triathlons or half marathons or marathons because they see what I do and the training I go through, and it just inspires them to keep going. But the biggest thing to me is the next generation. If I had what these kids have now, like the people that they watch, the parasports now, if I knew about this back when I was growing up and going through all my surgeries and knowing that there were so many opportunities for me in parasports, then I feel like I'd probably would have accomplished so much more than I have so far. But just knowing that I can help kids in the future and give them that knowledge, and to know that there's so much more in life that they're able to do. And I mean, if I wasn't as active as I was and wasn't raised the way that I was and just kind of fell into my disability, I guess you could say, I'd probably be bedridden or not able to do much, and life would be pretty dull and not fun. So sports practically saved my life. I mean, without it, I don't know where I would be right now.
Well, Ryen Reed, this side of you of advocacy, you know, for being driven or being treated no different than anyone else is something that's kind of prevalent in your life. You're speaking out. I mean, even your username talks about equality or bust. What type of movements are you trying to advocate for? I imagine, of course, on the disability side and so forth. And how do you approach this advocacy? And have you seen success?
I don't know if I really have an approach to it. I kind of just basically go with the flow, but just, I don't know, inspiring others and just being that open ear and anything people need. I mean, I want to be there for people as much as I can and do what I can to help move the para sports system and inspire others, and even able-bodied people. I mean, anything I can do to better, I don't know, people's lives, the world, what I can do. I mean, there's so much that needs to be, I don't know, helped or fixed or, I don't know, supported in this world. So if I can be any of that to anybody, it just means the world to me.
What's life like for you, Ryen Reed, outside of the competitive side? Because yes, this is a full-time job, not almost, for you. Competing is a full-time job. You can see it in your social media. What are you like outside of that realm, though, when you're not competing?
Outside of that, right now, honestly, all it's been is training. But I do enjoy going out with friends, hanging out, going to concerts. I love going to concerts and events like that, just where it's just full of people and things going on. And I just like being in that atmosphere. So basically that, and traveling and hanging out with my family a lot.
I ask this question a lot, especially the people that have had years of challenges, adversity, you know, somewhere where they can look back and say something, or look back at their life and maybe go speak to somebody that's in a similar position now that's younger. But like, think back to like when you were a kid and maybe everything seemed pretty uphill at points. What would you say to yourself?
Oh, when you asked that, like the first thing I thought of is me laying in a hospital bed after one of my surgeries. So like if I had the chance to go back and talk to myself, I would just say, just keep going and don't give up. I mean, I've been through so many struggles and I never did give up, but and I never will, but just to know that there's opportunity and you can't rush the process, basically. Like when I first started this striving for the Paralympics. It was right before Rio, and I was pushing so hard to go to Rio, but I didn't realize there was so much to it, and there was no way I was going to go to the Paralympics in Rio, because it was a couple months or a few months before that, or maybe a year, I don't remember. But I was just pushing to get to that point, and you just kind of have to relax and do what you can and not rush the process. So yeah, just hang in there, and everything will happen when it's meant to happen.
Can you give us some insight? What is it like for people that don't know? What is it like to be in that hospital bed after surgery? What is life like at that moment?
Oh, life is rough. Surgeries are rough. I mean, everything. There was nothing good about hospitals. I hated hospitals. I still have PTSD going near them or in them. They're hard. Just basically sitting there through pain and having nothing to do, especially being an athlete. You train your whole life, and you're that type of person that constantly wants to move and go, and being stuck in a bed is probably the worst feeling in the world. But especially with my leg surgeries and having leg spasms and stuff like that, and not being able to move much in bed, and it's a pretty bad feeling. It's rough. And I mean, I've had surgeries where I've been in full body casts and not able to move much at all, and it's hard. And then you have these leg casts where you have a scratch on your leg and you can't get that scratch because you have a cast, and those were probably the worst besides all the pain. But it's hard, and to know that these kids go through these situations and get through that, and it just makes you a lot stronger. And I mean, part of me wishes, always growing up, I wish that I didn't have to go through the things I went through, and I wish I could be like everyone else. But now, at my age now, I'm like so grateful that I went through that and that I got through it, and I still push through these struggles and stuff through life, because it's made me who I am today. And I don't think I'd be as strong as I am without going through all that.
Ryen Reed, let us in on a secret of how you can position yourself from that full body cast to where you are right now. What was the secret to get there?
I just knew there was something I was destined to do, I guess, and I just pushed through it. I mean, I don't know. I don't like being I like being original. I don't like being like everyone else. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but well, back when I had a lot of my surgeries that I can remember, it was during when I played softball. So knowing that as soon as I got through recovery and stuff, that I was going to get back out on that field and play again. And I remember actually my double knee surgery, I was stuck I had double knee surgery. My legs were stuck straight out for 3 months. I was stuck in a wheelchair, and I basically couldn't move for 3 months. And as soon as I got those leg casts off, I got back out on the field with my dad. And even though I couldn't run and couldn't bend over for the ball or anything like that, we still got back out there, and I just kept pushing towards goals, and I just wanted to keep moving. I didn't want to be stuck in a bed. And I think getting back to that place of moving and being active pushed me to keep going and get through like physical therapy. I went through so much physical therapy growing up, and just getting through all that, it pushes you to be better.
Now, Ryen, I hear, I mean, you've been through a tremendous amount of stuff, but the human condition, if you live long enough, people are going to face that adversity, especially the physical side. They're going to face the body failing them in some capacity. And you have so much insight. And so like, what do you think, like, what has this taught you about life? Like going through all this, what is it all about?
I think life is just full of struggles and I think we're built to get through those struggles. You just have to find your way to get through it. And there's ways around everything. And I think you just kind of adapt and get to that point where you can continue.
Ryen Reed, a lot of people will probably want to try to see where you're at. Like, how are they going to be able to find you? Are you going to be at some events? We know we're probably going to get to watch you in a Para Games, right?
Hopefully that's the goal. Because of that bike accident in 2017, that kind of put me back a little bit. So, 2020 was kind of not may not happen, but I had such a great season last season, and the way training is going right now, I'm still pushing for it. Trials are in Minneapolis in June, which is where they will announce the team and stuff. So hopefully everything goes well this season and I make that national team.
Ryen, what would you tell someone who is able-bodied or who has a disability who is looking to create confidence within themselves? What would you say to them?
I would say find what you're passionate about and what makes you happy and push towards that and do basically what brings out that fire in you, and just never give up. I mean, you just have to keep pushing and figure life out.
So Ryen Reed, I skip a lot of damn leg days. In fact, I skip like every single leg day at the gym if I'm there. And I notice you're pretty ripped up and you're strong. Do you think, like, if we had a pull-up contest, who do you think would win?
Not to toot my own horn, but just kidding.
She would mop the floor with you, bro.
I'm scared, man. I got to tell you, like, I watched you in there. It looks like you can crack out some pull-ups. You got a strong back. So
I do them every time I'm in the gym. I have to hit them. So I do. Yeah, I do them every morning. It's my warm up. I warm up in cardio, and then I do my pull-ups, and then I do the rest of my workout. But yeah.
What she's really trying to say right now is she's like, bitch, please.
Yeah, that's exactly. I got to.
No, I'm saying I'll meet you in the gym and we'll see.
We're going to do that because I'll start bringing out some video content here and there, but like we're definitely going to do that at some point because I pass through your backyard like every 2 or 3 months or something. So we got to do it, which is awesome. Ryen, by the way, Ryen Reed, you're a seriously impressive person, and that's despite all the challenges. Just you as a person, very impressive. Your insight is super cool. Just everything about you is great, and it's an honor to finally meet you because I knew of you because of Jacob and because of what you do, and like to finally sit down with you and get you on this show, really important to me. So thank you for being here. And Jacob, thanks for hopping on again.
Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you for your time, Ryen.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
Remember, go to livingadaptive.com to find previous episodes, show notes, contacts for guests like this guest, links to social media accounts, and a bunch of other good stuff. So go there. Peace.